The last few years obviously have been extremely busy in Southwest Florida. Obviously we had Hurricane Ian in 2022, and then last year we had Hurricane Helene and Milton. Obviously all very impactful storms in Southwest Florida. Florida does kind of goes through busy and quiet streaks. For example, in 2004 and 2005, we had 7 hurricanes that significantly impacted the state of Florida. Then in 2006 to 2015, for 10 years, we had 0 hurricanes hit the state. So it went from 7 in 2 years to 0 for 10 years. And then since 2015, it's been a lot busier again. So, realizing these storms, do come and go, and that, just because it's been busy here the last few years doesn't guarantee we're going to see continued busyness for the next few years. One of the big questions that we currently have, obviously, is will this long-term trend that we've observed generally towards La Nina continue right now? Overall, we've tended to see more frequent La Nina events and fewer El Nino events, and so if that trend were to continue, then potentially we would see continued more busier Atlantic hurricane seasons. We also obviously have, warming overall global oceans, but the El Nino La Nina cycle I think is going to be one of the big keys 10 to 20 years down the road.
Will there be larger but fewer storms, or more storms, or do we know?
I think there's a lot of uncertainty, so especially the frequency of storms is a big question. Likely in the future, storms will be getting a little bit stronger due to the warmer ocean temperatures, but exactly how much stronger is somewhat unclear.
Okay, what is the top thing people in Southwest Florida can do to prepare for changing climate?
I think really the key is really honestly knowing your hurricane history, because if we're prepared for what we've seen in the past, that'll really help us prepare for what we may see in the future.
And what are some of the top resources when it comes to tracking hurricanes, things the public can use for this next season?
Yeah, National Hurricane Center is the go-to place. That's where I go to every day, many times a day. I'm running reload constantly. They're the experts in predicting individual hurricane events, and they have excellent track and intensity forecasts. So also, if there are storms that are threatening, your local emergency managers know your area extremely well, and they can provide you advice as to whether you should be, evacuating, sheltering in place, and necessary precautions that you should be taking. Certainly some hurricane seasons are more difficult to predict than others, and even 2024, which we thought, we put out our forecast, it looked like all systems would go for an extremely busy year, and we did end up with an extremely busy year, but even last year we had a very quiet period during historically what is the peak of the hurricane season. So, no 2 years, like no 2 snowflakes, no 2 hurricane seasons are alike, and so it's important to realize when we do these seasonal forecasts, that we use a lot of past data to do our forecasts, and in general, if the future works like the past, that works out well, but there are certainly, every year is different. So each year does provide its own set of challenges when it comes to seasonal prediction.